good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're at in the world is blockchain, coming at you with a Bitcoin technical analysis update. Uh-oh, that's not good. Oh, snap. Let's try that again. For those of you that are new to my channel, I'm starting off on my website, blockchaintratading.com. You get a couple things on here, current active market prices, and I want to highlight my number one thing right here is my trading strategy that I give away completely for free. So if you have not checked out the website or gotten my trading strategy, make sure you jump over there. It is applicable to any market. So whether you're looking at forex, stocks, crypto, doesn't matter, some blockchain gear, and of course if you'd like to join the exclusive Discord, you can do so right here as well. I have to figure out what's going on. I'm gonna have to hop on this afterwards and try and figure out what's happening. So, but yeah, check out the website, and then also my masterclass is officially live as well. You can get that off of my website as well once I fix it. Sorry, guys, but basically it'll take you through a couple key things that I look at from a trading perspective, as well as a bonus trading psychology course from Shiloh Edwards. He's also part of the Discord group with me as well. So you definitely jump over there, check those out, and let's go ahead and dive into the charts real quick here. So right now we are looking at the daily. A couple things I do want to point out, and I just want to look at this overall move up. And I'll look at just a couple things. So one, from a trendline perspective, whenever we did lose this guy right here, we never came back and really back tested it. So we are currently right there. So this is going to be interesting, something to watch as well. And then overall for account, it's kind of another piece I wanted to take a look at as well, just in regards to the overall move up. I've seen a few counts of it being impulsive. I've seen a few counts of it being corrective. In my eyes, I'm leaning towards it being more corrective, I guess you can say. And in a three-wave fashion, in regards to like a double zigzag. So basically, if we started off at the low here, basically have our 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and then like another 5 wave, so an ABC there. We would have like this consolidating triangle. No, it's not technically a triangle, just because it doesn't meet all the rules for it, but we definitely consolidated here. And then looking for really like another, I guess you can say, three-wave move here. But I'm going to call this a three-wave. Like so. Making this thing a WXY. And one thing I do want to take a look at just in regards is a extension for this guy right here. So if you look for this particular move for a three-wave corrective flat, we are sitting right here where we've already tagged the 1-to-1. We're also at the daily resistance 3. So this is going to be pretty difficult to break, in my opinion. And if we do, and if this is a three-wave motion right here, then we can start looking at a couple targets on the upside, where we could be looking at $15.4. Oops, come on. 14.5, or basically 14.1 is where we could be potentially looking at if we do break this move here. But if this is a C wave, then from what I can see, a couple different ways to count it, and we'll take a look at the smaller time frames as well, where this would be your 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have an extended fifth with potentially like a expanding fifth wave right here, going and of the fifth of the fifth, I guess you can say, for what we could potentially looking at. So that's right here is a pretty key resistance zone for us. And if we do break this, then we start looking at one of these three targets right here. The other way is if this was this still looks like if it basically came out to say yay, then this would be your wave one. I'll just draw right here. This would be your wave 1, 2, for 3, and then we're consolidating for the fourth, and then about to go up for the fifth, eyeing one of these targets here. And if this is a wave 1 right here, you can see that it tagged the 1.618 extension quite nicely for it to be a wave 3, consolidate, and then wave 4 for a normal wave 5 would put us right at that 14.1, which would also be at the 1.236. So a lot of confluence right here. If we do have some overextended, which I mean, if we break this, I can imagine we'd get pretty bullish. There'd be some FOMO coming in. I could see us going to 14.5 right here, which is also the 2.618 extension of it right here. But basically, this move right here in the middle would end up being, I would count it as a WXY 3-wave right here, but I'm still counting this as a 3-wave, as basically an ABC right here. Of right here, it'd be a zigzag, because right here we have an impulse of up, another 3-wave back down, and then another impulsive move up. So I would still count it as a 3-wave overall correction, and still making this whole thing a WXY. Not necessarily impulsive in my opinion. It's right here is the thing that I just have the biggest problem getting over to make this a 5-wave move. Yeah, I mean, I've seen counts where this is 1, 2, and this is a 3 going in for a fourth, and this was the fifth. In my opinion, this is quite long for it to be a fourth wave. It's a little bit too long for it to be a fourth wave in my opinion. So that's what's making me lean up against that. It's not a overall impulsive wave, and it's a more of a corrective state. So even if it is, that could either turn that whole thing into a wave 1 and we're going into a wave 3, but I'm looking at this as more of like a potential C wave, or a Y wave of the overall larger correction. But regardless, I'm still looking at overall as a 3-wave move here, but with targets at 14, 14.5, or 15.4. Probably right here in this box of the 14 to 14.5, 14.6. So let me go ahead and I'll do a little square in there. Then we can look at some of the smaller time frames as well, and see what those are telling us. So I'll get that. And then another supporting case of us getting one more move up to 14.1 to 14.6, is we don't really have any divergence or anything right here on the daily. We are getting a little pretty tired on some of these oscillators and indicators, but we don't have any divergence or anything set up on it. So that is something that there's nothing saying that we should correct back, except for we're getting a little tired on some of these, but nothing. I don't see any kind of divergence or anything like that. So I mean, we do have this. We can clearly see that we had back here. We had this high on our indicators, and then this high right here, and then we had a new high for price, but we had that bearish divergence on all of these. We don't have any of that yet on this particular move, so that does kind of make it lean more towards like a wave 4 consolidating and then potentially going into a wave 5. But this right here is going to be fairly difficult to break, but if we do, it'll be pretty strong. It'll be a pretty quick move, I would say, to getting back up to that 14.1 to the 14.6 right here in this box. So overall, on a larger scale, that is what I'm looking for. After that, I would imagine a pretty decent correction, honestly. So, we'll see what that turns out to and pay attention to that. So let's just take a quick look at the 4-hour, see where we're at currently. So we're having a little bit of a pump from a dip yesterday. I know markets are opening up down, but ever since the PayPal announcement, they haven't exactly been following the traditional markets quite yet. And then see, we do have resistance right here at the 13.3. But you can also see on the 4-hour just how much RSI, the CB index, the market liberator, all of these are just resetting, even though price is continuing to make higher lows, and continues to make really higher highs as it goes up. So that is pretty typical of a fourth wave, where we start to see a lot of these really kind of reset for a fourth wave to get one more push back up for a fifth. And interesting enough, right here, even on the 4-hour, you can see the resistance 3-point is right up here at that 14.6 that we had looked at earlier. So it is matching fairly nicely for this to play out for ultimate to be a fourth wave. I was originally counting as this because of this original rejection. Actually, I think it was this one right here. This original rejection was so quick that we could potentially be done, but there's just been a lot of back and forth in regards for the consolidation to try and get this, I guess, consolidate a little bit more for a fourth wave to get that lift off for a fifth. But in the middle here, normally we'll kind of see a little bit more of a triangle pattern. Normally is what we'll see in a fourth wave. But let's draw a couple trend lines here. Also might get a little bit of a expanding triangle in regards to this consolidating into a fourth wave as well. That is also a potential. But I would just look at this as pretty much one-to-one ABC. And then we're starting a new move, but it could still be overall consolidation in how we go throughout this, because it's consolidation and corrective, those get pretty difficult to count. We'll look at some of the smaller time frames for that. One thing I did actually want to see here on the daily was just pull a fib time. Let's see what that guy says. So if we had the start of the A wave here, she could have started back here. That actually looks a little bit better. right here would be our 1, 2, and going through our 3, 4, and 5 up here. And that actually does look about accurate. Or we'll have basically have it start right here. Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so basically that does give us a little bit of time to consolidate, and that, what is that, November 13th? Looking to roughly finish this guy off. So somewhere around there. So we have our A and our B, and then going up for our C. So it would be eyeing somewhere around the, the 11th, 12th, 13th, somewhere around there, for this thing to overall be wrapped up, and then potentially to start looking for a little bit of downside, to correct back down. So we'll see what that turns into. So let's look at the 1 hour real quick, going back into that wave 4 that we have. Yeah, still looking at this overall as an ABC right here. And then we have this guy, which isn't exactly pretty. Most corrections aren't exactly pretty. Yeah, right in the middle of the resistance and pivots. Let's see, we're trying to get back into the bullish control zone, but it is, looking a little tired. So even if this is, we have like another 3-wave move for it to be like another A, B, C, come back up and, retest the 13,371, or even a little bit higher to kind of flag out, I guess, and then correct back down, and then, lift off. To pay attention on the higher time frame. But right now on the 1 hour, we are getting backwards, to the top of the, I guess, the middle of the bullish control zone, right at the 62, 63 on the RSI. But we are getting close to that volume band. Have a little bit of divergence, which isn't confirmed yet on the CB index. So it does, this kind of squiggle up, looks kind of similar to this guy right here, which is same thing that we did right here, where we kind of, again, just consolidation, and we correct back down, consolidation, climb up, correct back down pretty quick, just like we did here. That's pretty typical for consolidation. So ultimately look for, probably a move to 13.3, somewhere around there in that area, and kind of correct back down. But the other option is this thing is completely done. We'll kind of, again, consolidate and, ultimately just drop, kind of similar to what we have done before. Let me see, kind of like, almost like we did here, where this, whole thing kind of consolidates and is just an expanding, 5th wave, where, we'd have this guy come up into a 5-wave motion, and then we drop out of it to the downside. So ultimately, that's what I'm looking for, guys. Again, if you like my content, if you like my analysis, make sure you guys smash the likes, hit the subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the Discord.